All right, good morning, everyone. Here we are talking about the schedule, highlights, and curiosities. And it is kind of a curious schedule, but it is definitely much better than last year. Last year's schedule was a disaster. This year's schedule is a big improvement. It's not perfect, it's not balanced totally, but the good side is for most teams, you'll see more opponents. Okay, you're not going to see the same six opponents 18 times. All right, you're getting some variety, and that's good. There are a lot of nuances and weird intricacies, so let's get into it. Um, Busy weekends. 90% of all the games this year are Friday and Saturday, and that is a very good thing. All right. Obviously, those are your 2 days when you draw the most fans. You're going to draw more fans on a Friday than you are on a Tuesday. Duh. But anyway, so yeah, we have 32 days in which all 7 games are being played that night, and all 14 teams taking place. We have another 17 days in which we have 6 games. So, hence the 2 whiteboards. This one holds four game recaps, the other one holds 3. But I've still got to figure out how to make things nice and brief because if I'm talking about 7 games recapping, I've got 2 minutes and 10 seconds to talk about each game. So it's pretty rough. Anyway, actually, no, that's that. Not even that. That's right. Okay. Anyway, sorry, having a moment here. Okay. Yeah, definitely the schedule is better, but there's still some weird things. We're going to break this down team by team. Just mention some weird things and some interesting things, and the home openers. Most importantly, these are the initials I will be using this year for all the teams. Okay, so get used to them there. ARL, Athens Rock Lobsters. MMO from Monroe. Mom just looked weird, so MMO. All right. Anyway, let's go through each team here. All right, starting with Athens, we're going in alphabetical order. Athens, they start off all 11 games on the road. And I know when Athens announced the franchise, they said October 25th is our home opener. Uh, the arena needs to be completed. Remember, they're building the classic city arena or classic center arena. You want to get it right, so let's give them an extra month to get everything done. So having that late date for a home opener is actually a good thing. Besides that, you guys have the Georgia Bulldogs, SEC football. You're going to be busy with that until November anyway. So November 30th is the home opener versus the Carolina Thunderbirds. All right. After 11 games on the road, that's when you can first see your Athens Rock Lobsters. And then the next 13 of the next 14 games are at home. So, that's a nice long homestand. Facing Columbus 12 times makes sense. You have your in-state rival, and Monroe 12 times as well. All right, for Binghamton, I think Binghamton and Port Huron made out the best of all the teams as far as how the schedule was given to them. There's some weird intricacies with everyone else, but Binghamton and Port Huron have a pretty normal schedule. Now, Binghamton, their home opener is the back end of a home and home versus the Watertown Wolves, Saturday, October 12th. It'll be the banner raising ceremony as well that night, raising the championship banner. January is going to be a little rough for the Black Bears. They have 7 games out of 10 on the road. Got a long trip to Michigan 2 weekends in a row. And then they go to Mississippi 2 weekends later. So it'll be interesting. And then they're rewarded with 6 out of 7 possible games in February being at home. So there you go. Um, the they got 27 games against the teams in the northeastern pod. The teams are very close to them, so again, pretty favorable. The Blue Ridge Bobcats, looking to be the most improved team this next year at the rate they're going. They're making a case for worst the first story for this upcoming year. So the home opener for the Bobcats in the new Hitachi Energy Center. It's going to have 3,600 permanent seats. 10 October 18th against Athens. Blue Ridge plays 12 of the 13 possible opponents. Carolina makes sense. They're playing 14 times. Playing Hudson Valley 8 times, and then everybody else is 7 times or less. So it's kind of curious, but whatever. They have a good 7-game homestand from February 21st to March 9th. And that's a key time when you're starting to make your playoff push. So that's a really good time to have a nice long homestand. All right, for the Baton Rouge Zydeco, yeah, they've got the big Mardi Gras break. Okay, first game, home opener. The home opener is versus Mississippi on October 17th. Now, they do have that big Mardi Gras break. Again, they don't have any control over that. That's how the Raising Cane's River Center schedules events. Mardi Gras comes first. The Zydeco comes second. That's just the way it is. So 11 of the first 13 games are at home. And then later on, they have that big break. 16 games on the road between January 10th and March 8th. They play 9 teams. And, they're playing 58 games. They're playing 2 in Texas, in Beaumont, Texas, versus Monroe. At this point, they are scheduled to be exhibition games, but they could be changed to regular season games. If that happens, then the league would go to having points percentage being the ultimate tiebreaker rather than just points as far as figuring out who's where in the standings. That has not yet been determined, but right now it's slated for exhibition games. So, 58 games for Baton Rouge. For the Carolina Thunderbirds, first 4 games on the road, and then they have their home opener November 1st versus Blue Ridge. Makes sense. They play 12 teams, but it's very strange. They play Binghamton just once in Binghamton. They were in the Commissioner's Cup Finals against them this last year, and they're only facing them one time. And then they don't face Danbury at all. That's who they faced in the Commissioner Cup Finals the year before. It's kind of strange, but nonetheless, they're playing all the other teams. So they play 14 times against Blue Ridge, 8 times against Columbus. And I know that's a little disappointing. Remember when I did the Matrix video, I had fewer games between Carolina and Columbus because Carolina has a natural rival geographically with Blue Ridge. Columbus, you've got a natural rival with Athens. So it makes sense that the amount of games are going to be cut down. It is a shame, though, because obviously Columbus versus Carolina has been one of the great rivalries in this league. But, so only 8 times. Let's see. 2 5-game homestands over the course of the year for the Thunderbirds. For Columbus, their home opener is November 1st against Mississippi. That's their 3rd game of the year. 6 of their first 14 games of the year are against Mississippi, either at home or at Mississippi. Kind of strange. They only play 9 teams. Most common opponent is Athens, 12 games. They play 10 against Monroe and then 8 against Carolina. I still don't like that, but what are you going to do? There's going to be things that we don't like in the schedule. But again, still way better than last year. Let's see. January, they go on the road up to New York on the 17th and 18th. play a couple games up there, come back. 2 weeks later, go back up to Binghamton for a couple games. So that's kind of strange, but what are you going to do? All right, the Dashers. Their home opener is going to be October 25th against the Athens Rock Lobsters. A lot of teams have opening games against Athens. 8 of the first 10 games are at home at the David S. Palmer Arena. Um, Over the course of the year, there are 3 6-game homestands. Now, one does factor in two games or two road games in Topeka, but those are considered home games for the Dashers. They do play 12 teams, but they're really weird. They don't play one team a whole bunch of times. They play Baton Rouge 7 times. They play Motor City 7 times, and that's their most common opponent. Of course, they play 4 games in Topeka. January 24th and 25th, they're at Baton Rouge, or they're there versus Baton Rouge, and then on January 31st, the 31st and February 1st, they're in Topeka against Port Huron. All right, this is running long, so I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit. Danbury, you only play 8 teams. That is strange. The October 18th against Motor City. 5 of the first 12 games against Binghamton. Surprise, surprise. But you're only playing Binghamton 10 times as opposed to 18. All right, so 52 of their 56 games are against 6 opponents. They play Blue Ridge 2 times, Mississippi 2 times, and that's kind of strange. They have 34 games against the Northeastern Pod opponents. And they do have a nice, I guess you could call the homestand, 6 of 7 at home from February 22nd to March 9th. The Hudson Valley Venom playing in Newburgh, New York. Home opener is against the Binghamton Black Bears on October 18th. 10 of your first 11 games are at home, including 9 in a row. So, with your schedule, make hay while you can. Get off to a quick start. Only 5 of your last 18 games are at home. So a lot of road games in the tail end of the season. Hudson Valley plays 9 teams. Played Danbury 13 times, Binghamton 9, Watertown 9, and Blue Ridge 8. All right, the Mississippi Seawolves home opener is October 26th against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. 8 of your first 9 games are on the road, though, so enjoy that home game. Now, Mississippi, you do make up for it later on in the year. You do have a 10-game homestand from February 14th to March 16th, including 5 in a row versus Baton Rouge. So a little bit of a shade from last year, but nonetheless. Mississippi plays 12 teams, play Baton Rouge 13 times and Columbus 9 times. Monroe only 7 times. That kind of disappointed me a little bit. I was hoping for more games between Monroe and Mississippi, but what are you going to do? All right, Motor City, 11-2. That is November 2nd. That is your home opener against Port Huron. Yeah, you're playing a couple games on the road first. And that home opener is the back end of a home and home against your arch rival, the Port Huron Prowlers. 9 of 10 games, though, will be at home between February 28th and March 28th. So as you get down the home stretch, you got a lot of home games. You got that home ice advantage. Fans got to pack big boy out, especially for that home stretch. All right, 12 teams that the Rockers are seeing. They're playing the Prowlers 14 times, and they're playing 7 against the Dashers, 7 against Danbury, 7 against Watertown. So kind of interesting. All right, Monroe. Lots of excitement in northeastern Louisiana. We'll call it, if New Orleans is NOLA, we're going to call Monroe NELA, northeastern Louisiana. All right, your opening night at home is the second game of the season. Opening night, October 11th, against the Athens Rock Lobsters. All right. I would think that the game is probably going to be a sellout. I know they already have almost 3,000 season tickets sold for a 5,600 seat arena, so you're already you're already at 60% capacity. So and we're like 100 days away from the start of the season. That's good. All right. 6 of the first 7 games are at home. Monroe, you also have 58 games along with Baton Rouge because you're playing those 2 games in Beaumont, Texas. Playing 9 teams, the most common opponent is Athens, strangely. 12 times against Athens, and then 11 against Baton Rouge, your in-state rival. That's a little strange, but what are you going to do? 10 games against Columbus. You have a 7-game road trip from December 6th to the 21st, and then you have 11 in a row, February 20th through March 11th. So, go down to Baton Rouge for the Mardi Gras, or New Orleans, better yet, for all the Mardi Gras festivities. All right, Port Huron, October 18th versus Carolina is your home opener. Of course, you're playing in Topeka against the Dashers on January 31st and February 1st. Port Huron, you're playing 12 teams out of the 13. Motor City is your most common opponent, 14 times. You have the Dashers. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Danbury Hat Tricks, you have 7 times. Binghamton, you have 6. And Carolina, 6. Port Huron, again, you had one of the most balanced schedules as far as home and road games. You don't have any huge road trips. You don't have any huge homestands. You got 1 4-game homestand from February 7th to the 15th. And then you have 4 games in a row on the road, which is your longest road trip. So, yeah, it is what it is. Port Huron, I think you made out probably the one, you and Binghamton made out the best. Finally, the Watertown Wolves. All right, game 1, the first game of the year, is at the Watertown Municipal Center against the Binghamton Black Bears on October 11th, and then the Monroe game is going to be an hour later. 6 of your first 7 games are at home. 6 of your last 7 games are on the road. So another case of make hay while you can. Watertown is playing 9 teams. Most common opponent is Danbury Hat Tricks, 11 times. You have Hudson Valley 9 times, Binghamton 8, and Motor City 7. And it didn't look like there were too many travel problems with the rough winters. We always know that if anybody's going to get hit by winter weather, it's Watertown. That happens when you live so close to Canada. But overall, again, I think the schedule is pretty good. It could have been better. It could have been much, much worse. So there you go. There's a little breakdown into some nuances for each team. And hey, leave a comment down below. Let me know who your favorite team is. Do you like your team's schedule? Do you have an eyebrow raising moment with it? Let me know what you think. All right, that is it for today. I know I went a little long, but I wanted to break down a little bit each team. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all your support. Make sure you're hitting like and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, and also keep a watch for me soon on Spreaker and multiple platforms affiliated with that. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.